Welcome, 8th grade. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today for this explainer lesson. We are stepping into a really exciting topic, and I want you to bring all your energy today because we are basically embarking on a masterclass. We're going to learn exactly how to share amazing stories with the world. Think about the power of a really great story. Think about how it can completely change someone's mind, warm a heart, or just take you on this massive adventure without you ever having to leave your chair. Well, today we are learning the art of the book talk. Now, I want you to really think about this for a second. Have you ever read a book that was so good you just had to tell someone about it? Like you literally couldn't help yourself. I'll give you a moment to picture that exact feeling. You close the back cover, you take a deep breath, your mind is just racing, and you immediately want to run to your best friend and say, "You have to read this right now." That feeling, that absolute pure enthusiasm, that is exactly what we're going to harness today.
So that brings us to section 1. What exactly is a book talk, and how do we use it to spark interest?
Well, it's actually really interesting to think about what a book talk is not. Let's get this out of the way right now. It is definitely not a boring, robotic book report where you stand at the front of the room and just drone on, listing every single thing that happened from page 1 to page 300. Absolutely not. A book talk is a short, punchy presentation designed to spark interest in others. Honestly, think of it like a movie trailer, but for a book. Your goal here is to give an exciting, brief pitch that makes your classmates desperately want to read exactly what you just finished. You are essentially acting as the hype man for your absolute favorite author.
Moving right along to section 2, building up your peers by sharing a book talk.
As Christians, literally everything we do in this classroom connects back to a much higher calling. Take a look at this really beautiful scripture. Therefore, encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing. That's 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Sharing a great book isn't just some random academic exercise to get a grade. It is a powerful, highly practical way to encourage a friend. When you share a story that brings a little joy, teaches some empathy, or just provides a fun escape, you are actively building up our classroom community. You are sharing a true gift.
So why do these book talks actually matter in the long run? Well, they have some serious real-world benefits that sharpen your mind and bless your neighbors. First off, they develop really strong speaking skills. You learn how to articulate your thoughts clearly and with confidence. Second, it gives you a platform to express your opinions. And guys, your voice absolutely matters. Third, teaching someone else about a book helps lock those key details directly into your own memory. And finally, you are literally encouraging others to read and grow. You are spreading wisdom and expanding horizons simply by talking about what you love.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. Here are the specific tools we're putting right into your tool belt. We're going to learn how to summarize a plot without giving away any spoilers, because, let's be real, nobody likes a spoiler. We'll also learn how to zero in on and highlight only the most exciting parts of the story. And we'll learn how to recommend a book so effectively that your friends are going to be begging to borrow your copy the absolute second you finish speaking.
All right, section 3, crafting the pitch and preparing your talk.
Let's dive right into the how-to and break this down into 4 essential steps. Step 1. Choose a book you genuinely enjoyed. Trust me, you cannot fake enthusiasm. Once you have it, outline the basics, the title, the author, and the main idea. Step 2. Highlight exactly why you recommend it. Was it hilarious? Was it terrifying? Was it thrilling? Step 3 is where the real magic happens. Practice with expression and solid eye contact. Practice in front of a mirror, even if you feel a little silly doing it. Or grab a sibling or a good friend to be your test audience. Look them right in the eye. And finally, step 4, you always want to end with an invitation. Leave them with a little hook, something like, if you like stories about surviving in the wilderness, you are going to love this.
This leads us perfectly into section 4, attention hooks, and how to really spark curiosity.
The absolute most critical part of your talk is that very first sentence. That is your hook. And different approaches work beautifully for different types of books. First up, we have the mystery hook. Imagine leaning in and saying, "You won't believe what the detective finds in chapter 10. Instantly, your audience is hooked, wondering, "Wait, what does he find?" Then there's the personal connection hook. You might start off a bit softer, saying something like, "This reminded me of moving to a new school." That is absolutely perfect for middle school dramas because your peers instantly relate to that feeling. Finally, we have the genre sell. If you like sci-fi with a mystery twist, this is for you. Boom. It is direct, it is clear, and it perfectly targets fans of that specific genre.
Okay, let's get to section 5, your homework and your weekly mission.
All right, here is your 5-step mission for the week. First, you're going to prepare a 1 to 2 minute talk on a book you've read recently. Keep it under 2 minutes, okay? We want it short, punchy, and exciting. Second, Write out that captivating hook sentence we literally just talked about. Third, identify the main idea cleanly. And I am going to say this with my serious teacher voice right now. Fiercely protect the ending from spoilers. Do not ruin the twist for us. Fourth, practice with a partner and get their honest feedback. And finally, step 5, you are going to share your amazing talk with our class.
And finally, section 6, the godly learner and our biblical morality tip for the week.
Because guys, reading isn't just for entertainment. It's not just a way to kill time on a rainy afternoon. Reading is actually an active pursuit of empathy, of understanding, and of wisdom. When we step into someone else's shoes through a story, we learn to understand our fellow human beings so much better. And by gaining that wisdom and empathy, we are much better equipped to reflect God's call to build up the people around us.
And this actually brings us to a really profound truth in Scripture. Romans 8:6-7 tells us, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." Our mindset while we are learning matters deeply. What we feed our minds, the specific books we choose to read, the way we engage with our education, all of it shapes whether we are leaning toward worldly distractions or leaning toward true spiritual life and peace.
So this brings us right to the absolute core of the HeroesMart Academy Godly Learners philosophy. We intertwine biblical morality with your academic education for a very specific reason. Because education without morality can actually hurt. Having knowledge and intelligence shouldn't just make you a more capable person, it should fundamentally help you make wise, God-honoring choices. As Romans 8 just taught us, keeping the mind spiritually minded leads to life and peace. So as 8th graders, I strongly encourage you to pursue academic excellence in everything you do, including this book talk project. But as you do it, keep your mind firmly centered on God, on truth, on wisdom, and on making righteous choices.
So, as we wrap up this explainer lesson, I'm going to leave you with one final challenge to think about. What book will you use to build up your peers this week? Will your presentation be the one that completely changes a classmate's entire perspective? Or maybe introduces them to their brand new favorite world? You have the tools, you have the structure, and most importantly, you have the godly calling to encourage one another. Go out there, find a fantastic story, prepare an incredible pitch, and let's change our classroom one book at a time. Have a wonderful week of reading, everyone.